thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to do something that I think is necessary from all of us, educating ourselves or trying to find out a new technique, a new tool, a new procedure, a new way of conducting business. I discuss the seller's net sheet, and you could join me in any month because I can't go through all the procedures on one particular day, but I'll try to go through as many as I can as we go through the classes every month. If there's any questions from anyone, please either let Laura know through the chat or let me know. Tell me, Jose, I have a question. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. I sent you some information, so you have it. You all should have it. I sent you my curriculum vitae. That's what I call it, my resume for you. So you know who I am. Who's the person on the other end giving me this information? I consider myself to be just like you, a realtor. I list homes, I sell homes. I've been in the business for a while, and I've been around the block for a while. So one of the tools that I utilize for a long time is the seller's net sheet. And I've looked for a way to create it so that it'll be easier for me to understand. And what I'm trying to say to you as realtors, that I think realtors should have a seller's net sheet in their package. It is not mandatory. Is it a requirement? No, it's not a requirement right now, but I see it in Sky Slope this year as a optional. And I'm going to say sooner than later, it's going to be mandatory. That's what I believe. It's been mandatory for me for a long time. Why? Because I use it as a tool to be able to summarize the numbers for my clients and what they're going to pay in fees besides commission. When I started off in this business 4 decades ago, we had no keys. We put a key under a rock. And when people said, how much were you going to pay? What's the commission that you pay on a sale? At that time was 32,000 in Chino Hills. You would say it's going to be approximately 8.5%. And you'd say 6% commission, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and 2.5 towards escrow and title and garbage fees. Now, I didn't know at that time when I started off what garbage fees were or even thought about it. And maybe some people don't today. So that's optional for us as realtors. But I believe it's necessary for me, for my broker file, and for my, more importantly, my legal file. So I have two files, my broker file, which pays me what I get, and my legal file that protects me in the event somebody comes up after me. And once again, it's not a requirement, but I think it's a great tool to utilize. I can utilize it when I'm taking a listing and be able to tell my clients the numbers right then and there, what they're going to get. Now, I know that I checked with some other realtors who utilize the seller's net sheet. A couple of the realtors I spoke with, they'll get it from escrow, which is fine. What is that, a HUD one? An estimated net sheet from escrow. That's fine as well. As long as you could tell me, the owner, what does these numbers mean? What do they mean? So I asked the question. The other thing that I always say when I'm giving a class is, and this is the legal situation, if somebody were to have you in court and they asked you the question, do you provide a seller's net sheet? What would your answer be? It's either yes or no. So neither, as far as I know, is bad, but they're going to ask you yes or no. And I think if you say no, the next question would be, why not? Why don't you use a seller's net sheet? You'll have to explain yourself. In the same way, if they ask me, Mr. Martinez, do you use a seller's net sheet? I'm going to say I do. Can you explain the seller's net sheet? And I'm going to say I can. And I think that's the difference. It's just an estimate. It's just something that I give to my clients so they can see what they may be getting approximately. Okay. So you got my information that tells you who I am. And then you saw a seller's net sheet formula. Jose's net sheet formula. And we'll go over that as we go through it. I suggest you keep it and learn it. Okay. And you can apply this and manipulate it on any other net sheet that you find, to be truthful with you. Now, car has a net sheet, and I'm going to go over that with you. There's a lot of places that have seller's net sheets. Uh, Personally, we don't use all the numbers they claim in these sellers' net sheets, like taxes, this rate, that rate, all kind of things. What's the interest rate? Something like that. What's the interest rate for this loan, that loan? They're not required. Okay. Okay. If you do a net sheet and you understand a net sheet, those to me, those items are not a requirement. So sometimes when I see someone else's net sheet, I'm a bit confused, so I don't use them. Okay. And I sent you Jose's seller's net sheet. I sent you a couple of them to you. So we're going to go over though a property based on a figure today with you. And I sent to you a preliminary title chart. Now I only sent you one sheet of the preliminary title chart. I normally have a book. I have a couple of books. You can go to your title company and talk to your title rep and say, I'd like a title chart or a rate chart that tells me if I sold a home at 45,000 to 5 million, 7 million, 10 million, what would I be paying for preliminary title, Alta policy or the best policy? Okay. And so I have my rate chart because that's necessary in a seller's net sheet. I also sent you, and you're going to see it, it says seller's net sheet formula proceeds form. The first one is this one is from CAR. And if you look at it, it says seller's estimated net proceeds, name, address, and then it says sales price 1, sales price 2, sales price 3. So if you learn to use my net sheet, you can manipulate this one as well. You could do anything you want to. And it says sales price 1, 2, 3. I can put all the prices in there. It has mortgage payoff, which I utilize as well. It has all the information, a lot of the information that I have in my net sheet, and a lot that I don't, because they didn't put it in there. They didn't say the numbers the way I'm indicating them. But if you look at the next seller's net sheet formula that I sent you, that's dated 3/23/2021, and I'm going to make sure that everybody picks it up. It's dated 3/23/2021, and it says seller's estimated net proceeds. This is from the CAR, a CAR form. So I put in a number that we're going to use today. I put a sales price of $675, a sales price of $670, a sales price of $665, and I put a debt, the debt that we're going to have today. This seller has a debt of mortgage of $300,000 and other debt of $22,500. So we're looking at it, and I manipulated it. Same thing. I put in numbers, and if you look at this one, at the end of the day, it said estimated seller's proceeds, $301,896. Okay. I basically put in the same numbers. Now, if you look way at the bottom where it says other, there's 4,400. Those were fees here that I have in my net sheet that I couldn't find here. So I know what they look like on my net sheet, so I just put them under the name other. Boom, and I set it in there, and it came up with a number of 301,896. I want you to remember that, okay? This is from the CAR, okay? And the result of that is this form, okay? All of you have that. It's the prepared by, and it's impressive. If you put it out in color, it's really impressive. Prepared by, and mine says Jose Martinez. It has my office, it has my license number. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And you could brand this. You could brand this any way you want to, okay? And it says prepared when? 2/23/2021. Everybody see that? All right, I hope so. Okay, I see something on chat. Let me take a look. Chat. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody need me, you let me know. But anyhow, you could look, and what it did is it gave you a proposed price, scenario 1, 2, and 3. If I sold it at 675, if I sell it at 670, if I sell it at 665, and these costs go into play, seller, Mr. and Mrs. Owner and seller, you should be getting somewhere between 301, 297, 196, or 292, 496. And it tells you at the bottom that this is just an estimate. That's all it says. And then it says seller, agent Jose Martinez, seller's sign below. And I have it in my record. And all it is something that says, hey, if I sell it at this price, this is what I think you're going to get. It's an estimate. That's all it is. Are you all with me? All right. All right. I'm glad you are. All right. So pull out one of the blank. You should have one there that says Jose seller's net sheet, and it has a number there, listing price, $675,000 at the top, listing price. And then it says projected selling price, 670,000. 670,000. Are you with me? Okay. So I sent this to you. You can create your own seller's net sheet, put in your own beautiful photo, put in your information. Okay. I put a tagline on the top. Mine is call Jose and start packing. Because when you call me, what can you do? Start packing. All right. So I have a tagline. Believe me when I tell you. Advertise yourself. Market yourself. Okay. Love yourself. So here goes. This is my net sheet. What I go over with the client. Okay. Now, on the last class we had last month, one of the agents said to me, Mr. Martinez, I never thought about that. Going over the net sheet with the client right there. So if you could do it, I can do them like, wow. It's impressive. It's impressive. But you can still go to escrow. If you need to go to escrow and tell them, please make me a estimated net sheet, similar to the one that I just showed you from CAR. The difference is that you're doing it and you understand it. And I think that's important. Okay. So here we go. We're going to look at it. When I take a listing, how many times do I use the net sheet? I take it when I take a listing, and I give it to my client when they list with me. If you don't list with me, I don't give you the seller's net sheet. Okay. You don't need my information. So if you list with me, you're going to get the information. If you're not going to list with me, I'm going to let you look at the information. And then if you tell me, yes, Mr. Martinez, I'd like to work with you, you and I will sign the documentation. You'll get a copy and I will get a copy. And anytime we receive offers or numerous offers or acceptance, the one that accepted, I want to have a net sheet for the final. It's called the final net sheet. So I may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 net sheets in my package before the day is out. The listing closes. So here's listing number 1, because you're taking the listing. And when I take a listing, I'm not going to show the worst scenario to my client, but I'm going to describe the worst scenario to my client. Okay? Because I don't know what's going to happen. I take a listing today. You may bring me an offer that's $25,000 overpriced, that over list price, not overpriced, over list price. There's a difference. Okay? So you may bring me an offer $25,000 over list price. So I'm not going to worry about, am I going to pay buyer's fees, this fee, that fee, certain fees I'm not going to worry about. But I do describe those fees with my clients when I'm taking a listing. Okay. So we're going to go through all of this together. You have the information. All right. So the first thing it says there for you, if you look at it, it says number 1 on the seller's net sheet formula. What's number 1? It says sales price minus debt, minus debt. Well, when you go into a listing, you may not know what debt is. Okay. Now, in this case, I told you what the debt was going to be, but I'm going to give it to you so we can all have the same debt. When I get a call from you and you want to list, one of the things that I normally ask is, how much do you owe on the property? And can you give me what your monthly payment? And do you have HOA? Why? So that I can have that information before I even show up to speak with you. And I put all that information into my data. Okay. So that's another tip. Gather all the information. Yes, Mr. Martinez. By the way, before I come out and meet with you, can I ask you, how much do you owe on the property? And how much is your mortgage payment? And is there any HOA there? Oh, 2 of them. Okay. Yes, okay. I have those numbers. I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Thank you. So I try to get as much information as I can before I see you so I can place it into the data. Another tip. But sometimes I do it when I'm previewing the property. Because when I'm previewing the property, I'm gathering data. And one of the questions that I always ask when I'm taking a listing is, Mr. Martinez, what are your plans for the future after we sell your property? You see how I'm tying myself to them? After we sell your property. And he says, well, I'm thinking about buying a condominium. If I could get about $2,000 out of this transaction or $250,000, somewhere around there, I'm going to buy another condominium further out. I'm always trying to find out before I sit down, like, looking up at the property. Can you tell me, I see a stain on the ceiling. You know anything about that? Just for my ABID. That's a separate class. All right, let's go back here. So in this case, I'm asking the seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what do you owe on the property? What is your mortgage payment? And she says, Jose, I have a first mortgage trust deed of $300,000. So on your net sheet where it says encumbrances, write the word all debt. All debt. Okay. What is all debt? Mortgage payments, equity lines, HELOCs, they call them HELOCs, some equity lines, HELOCs. I owe child support, spousal support, okay, late taxes, okay. There may be liens on your property and you don't know about them. If they're building a pool on your home right now, you have a lien on your property. If they're putting a roof on your property right now, you have a lien on your property. I guarantee it. So there are lots of different ways of where you have taxes. So I ask my clients about all of them: child support, spousal support, taxes, anything. Let's put it in there that you owe. And that would be the case. In this case, they said, Mr. Martinez, I have a first trust deed of $300,000. So where it says first trust deed, please put in there the number 300,000. I asked, are there any other loans on this property? And they said, yes, we have another loan, credit card loan on the property, and it's $22,500. $22,500, where it says other, put $22,500. So if you put total, that's $322,500. So now I know all the debt. Now what I'm going to do is do what formula number 1 says: projected gross equity. How do I get it? Sales price. Right now, my projected sales price, I'm listing it at what? $675, but my projected sales price is $670 because I asked the owner, Mr. Martinez, we can list your home for $675. You know, the last one just closed at $670. And he goes, if I can get with $670, I said, it looked very similar to yours. It had a pool like yours and so forth. It was very similar. Well, $670, if I can get $670, but let's try for the $675. And if I can't get it, I'll accept $670, maybe even a little bit less, Jose. I don't know yet. Okay. So list price $675. I'm listing it at $675. If I get $675, will we take it? Yes. In today's market, if I'm somewhere in Rolling Heights where you guys are at, or even here where I'm at, and somebody offers me something like crazy, like 25, 30, 40,000 more than the asking list price, will I take it? Yes. Why? Because the market is not going down, it's going up in a lot of places. So you got to know the pulse. Okay. So here we go. I said 675, list price 670. So we do it this way: 670,000 minus 322,500. Okay, so put that in there. Let's put, let me get my pen. 1 second. I'm sorry. So we have now 300,000 first trust deed. Second trust deed is other is 22,500 for a total of 322,500. And what we're going to do now is subtract 322,500 from 370 because we have debt of 322,500. Subtract that from 670. See, get your calculators out because you do need a calculator with me. If I'm selling my home for 670,000 and I have a debt of 322,500, my projected gross equity right now is 347,500. My projected gross equity right now is 347,500. Everybody with me? Not list price, sales price, projected sales price, 670. At 670 minus 322,500 leaves me a projected gross equity of 347,500. Everybody with me? I hope so. If not, let me know. Let me know. All right. Now, gross always says something to me. I'm looking for net. I'm not looking for gross. So that gross always tells you need to subtract some more. What? Those things on the left-hand side, estimated cost. Remember I told you when I started off in real estate, we'd say, oh, it's 6% plus escrow and title and garbage fees. Well, to me, those are those garbage fees and escrow and title. Okay? So that you can explain to someone, hey, this is this is that, this is this is that. Now, when I trained one of the agents last month said, Mr. Martinez, I understand this to be this way. So believe me, you as realtors, I respect whatever way you understand it. But for my seller's net sheet, I explain it to you this way, and it works in the manner that I'm explaining it to you, okay? Because you could show me net sheets from all forms, and I know I can manipulate it to give me the same, almost the same number, okay? So we're looking at it, and we have now a projected gross equity of 347,500. Now what we want to know are what are the fees on the other side. So let's go to our seller's net sheet once again, our net sheet formula. Number 2, okay, escrow fees. What are escrow fees? Now you could talk to your escrow officers, the ones you work with on a regular basis, but I average it out at about $2 per thousand and a setup fee of $250. So if you said to me, Jose, my escrow officer has a setup fee of $500 and charges $3 per thousand, I wouldn't argue with you if that's what you want to pay. But average, I have an average, and I look and I work with certain escrow companies, and they say $2 per thousand. When the market changes, sometimes they change too, but it's about $2 per thousand and $250 per setup fee. What's a setup fee? Setup fee is a fee that they do to change the name on that information, escrow information. Jose Martinez, okay? Andy Jen, okay? They may be changing it. We're not the same name. Laura, okay? We're not the same person. So escrow has to input the information, and they charge per thousand, and then they charge a setup fee, and the setup fee means just to put the name and the information of the property and all that other good stuff into that paperwork that they're going to do. So we're looking at this one. So if I were selling this home, here goes. We're selling this one for how much? 670,000. So put 670,000 in your calculator times 0.2% equals $1,340. Once again, 670,000 times what? 0.2% equals $1,340. But I still got to add what? The setup fee plus $250 equals $1,590. And if you look at the formula that I gave you, it has the same thing. Escrow fee, $2 per thousand, $250 setup fee. Same thing. So there it is. So escrow is going to cost $1,590. Let's put that in there. Escrow fee. All of us should have $1,590. Are you all with me? All right. Here we go. The next one is sub escrow. Some of the other fees that if you look at the one from car, there's no sub escrow in there. Once again, everybody has it as different fees. They may have it down under other. That's where I'd have to put it. If they don't say anything, I'm going to say it's under other. But sub escrow, what is sub escrow? You can check on your closing fees. When you look at an escrow fee, you're going to see sub escrow. What is sub escrow? It's not an escrow fee. It is a fee. And once again, your seller's net sheet formula. Sub escrow is a fee that is charged by the title company, not the escrow company, by the title company to both buyer and seller. And it runs about $150. Could be a little less, could be a little bit more. And I put down $75 for seller, and buyer's going to pay about $75 for buyer. Okay, something like that. Sub escrow. It's a fee that's going to be in your closing statement, and you can check yourself. Put a little note there. Let me find out if Mr. Martinez is correct. Sub escrow. Look at your closing statement. It's there. You know, I work very closely with my escrow officer. So every time I do a seller's net sheet, I give my escrow officer my seller's estimate. Why? So that she's going to be aware of what we think we're going to be making at this price. And I like to look at it so I can compare both my closing statement with my seller's net sheet. Okay. I like data. I've been doing this for 30 something years. So I can tell you, I'm always looking at the data. So the next one, sub escrow. And I give you this on your net sheet because one of my mentors, and when I worked with Bruce Moham for many years, and also Jim Thompson, once again, having the information and giving it out, that's like a script. There's your script. Sub escrow. What's sub escrow? Sub escrow. It's a fee. It's not charged by title, but it's not charged by escrow, but charged by title. About $150, 75 towards buyer, 75 towards seller. It's a script all ready for you. Number 3, recording fee. What is it? It's right there. And it's in your net sheet already. Why? So that you don't have to think about this any longer. Okay. I don't want you to have to think about how much is sub escrow? How much is recording fee? Oh, how much is it? It's right there. So there it is. Recording. What is it? How much? $125. What is it for? Could be fees for recording of reconveyance or attorney documents. Simple as that. Now, if they told you it was for something else, it could be. Okay. But that's what you understand. That's what I understand. So you go to the next one. Drawing deed. 125. So it says 75, 125, 125. I keep those numbers, this formula right here. Right? See where it's at? Maybe it's over here now. Okay. But I keep it there all the time. Next one. What is the drawing deed fee? To draw up the grant deed. There's your script. Drawing deed. What's the drawing deed fee for? To draw up the grant deed. Okay. Learn the script. Okay. You learn it, You're going to tell your clients that the next time you see them. Title insurance. See the chart. Let's pull out the chart. We're selling this home for how much? $670,000. Yep. Title insurance. So let's look under the chart, and we got to look for 670. Uh-oh, there it is. 670. 670,000. What does title going to cost for 670? I go by the first one. In this case, it's called the Eagle Owner Policy, line number one, $1,927. $1,927. Please put that in your little file right there. 1,900 and what? 20. I'm sorry to get out of your frame. And 1,027. $1,927. Okay. Now, we're going to pretend that this property, what did I say there? Oh, it's in LA County. It says up on the top, LA County. Owner lives in the home. Okay. And that's important too. If an owner doesn't live in the home and he's leasing it, there's another fee, that 3.33%. If an owner lives in it, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Okay. So I'll try to touch bases on everything. Okay, so we got transfer tax. The owner lives in LA County. So my formula says this: if you're in Riverside and San Bernardino, we're going to charge 1.1% over every $1,000. LA and Orange County, 2.2% for my formula. So if you're in LA County, I use 2.2. If I'm in Riverside and San Bernardino, I use 1.1. Okay, since this was in Los Angeles County, the formula says very simple. And all of you could do it. It's going to be easy. If you were selling a home for 670,000 divided by 1,000 equals 1,670. That's the number. But I give you the formula so that in case you ever run into a number like this, $670,252.32. Now tell me the number real quick. I could give it to you divided by 1,000. See, Mr. Martinez, there it is. I don't care what number they throw at you. Divided by what? 1,000. And then say times whatever the tax for that area. If it's LA and Orange County, what is it going to be? 2.2. If it's in San Bernardino and Riverside, what is it going to be? 1.1. In this case, it's in Los Angeles County. So I'm going to say once again, 670,000. And I know divided by 1,000 equals 670. That's right. 670 times what? Times 2.2, not percent, equals. Don't put percent in there. Look at my formula. Put in just 2.2 equals 1,474. How much? 1,474. So our transfer tax for the area at 2.2 is 1,474. We all should have that same number. We all should have all the same numbers. Let me go this way. All right. So our next fee.
Jose.
Yes.
You do have a couple of questions if you want to look at them in the chat.
Okay, let me see give me the question. I'm ready. Okay, if your property sells for well over the asking price, as you just mentioned, how should you handle the appraisal contingency if you represent the seller? That's a very good question. Matter of fact, John Giardinelli and us were discussing that at a broker manager meeting. If you recollect, Laura, one was the appraisal contingency. And here goes. I'll answer that question first. Is that okay with you guys? Here goes. That's going on all over. That's why I sort of facetiously said it here. What if somebody offers me 10, 20, 30,000 more than what I list at? Well, that's going on. How do you handle it? I'll say to to the person that asked the question, when you're the listing agent, you should know the answers to those things. And I'm being facetious again, because how do you answer something like that? I don't know what kind of offer you get. Here goes. If you offer me 20,000 or 30,000 more than the list price, I, as the listing agent, should know that, number one, that the buyer can actually buy more and pay for more than the list price. That's number one. Number two, that his lender or any lender I select will be willing to let the buyer pay more than the list price. Okay. Now, there's another thing. Are we talking about appraisal price? Because I saw appraisal there. Well, then you need to put in there, seller, buyer to pay if in the event that values comes in less than list price or appraised value, buyers will be obligated to pay and make up the difference. You see that? Now you're going to have to put that component in there. Hey, because there is no one little, how do you fix this or fix that? That's why I don't worry about an offer until it comes to me. And then I wonder, okay, buyer wants to buy my property. He wants to buy it for 30,000 above list price. One, can he do that with his lender? Because some lenders won't let you do that. You're getting a loan and you're going to get an appraisal. Two, if the appraisal doesn't come in, and they will let him do that, does the buyer have the money to make up the difference? Because I say, I want to buy it for 30,000 less. And then I find out, damn, it came in $30,000 less. And I said, I'm going to make up the difference. Woo. How many buyers do you not want to pay, more? Some do, some don't. So that's what I do. I want to make sure when I send a counter back that the buyer understands. Can I make sure that the lender will let him buy, number one, for more than list price? Number two, if the value doesn't come in, can the buyer buy and make up that difference to buy it? Okay. So those will be my only concerns. Okay. Because I know a lot of people are being told, if you want to buy this house, you got to buy it not subject to appraisal. How can you not have it not subject to appraisal if you're getting a loan? Okay. So I hope I answered question number one. Okay. Number two, let's see. Number two, let me go down a little bit, see if I can see it. If you have an escrow company at your company, can you ask the escrow office to make the net sheet for you? Yes, you bet you can. You bet you can. When I started off and I didn't understand anything, that's the first thing I did do. I asked my escrow officer, can you help me make a net sheet? I'm going to go out and take a listing. And they'd say to me, Jose, what price do you think it's going to be at? And I'll give you an example. Those days I'd say 32,000 or maybe 34. So make one for 34 and one for 32. Okay. And then she'd ask me, do you know how much they owe? And I go, no, I didn't ask that question. Do you know how much their monthly pay? No, so yes, you can. Okay. I'll say this to you, that if you get one from your escrow officer, learn how to understand the numbers the way I'm going over it with you right now, so that you can explain that net sheet. Once again, we're in court and I ask you, the person that asked that question, what do you use the seller's net sheet? And you say, yes, I do. I use one from escrow. Oh, great. Can you explain it to me? That's the question. That's really the question. Okay. Having a net sheet and saying, here, Mr. Martinez, if we sell your home for $670,000 and you have debt and this, you're going to wind up with this amount of money. Did you explain it to me? That sounds like it's just gloss. That's what I call gloss.
Mr. Martinez, I was the one that asked the question about the escrow.
Yes.
And what I do at that point is just give them escrow's phone number and say she can answer all the questions for you.
They could ask all the questions for you. They're not at the listing with you, are they?
No.
And you could, once again, there's nothing wrong with what you're going to do. A lot of people do that. Hey, get me one from title, give me one from escrow. Escrow gives it to me, and I go to my listing and I give it to them, and I go over it with them. That's good. Okay. The key is we're all competing, are we not? We're all competing. I'm doing the same thing. I do mine in front of them. I don't know how you do your listing. I do know how I do my listing, and I'm a competitive realtor. Believe me when I tell you. So I love, it's like going. I love boxing. So it's like going to a fight. We're all fighting for a listing. I think it's much more impressive when you do it yourself in front of me, and you're the one doing it, as opposed to telling me I have an estimate, and this is what escrow said to me. Maybe that doesn't make sense to you, but I think it's like having tools in your box. Having escrow as a tool, that's great. Having this as a tool too is great. Why? Because now you have two tools. Having more tools is always better. Okay. And I work with escrow. Like I said, I give my escrow officer my seller's net sheet so that I can have it when I compare it to the closing statement at the end of escrow. And so I could look. And the reason I do that is because if my clients wind up with more than I promised them on the seller's net sheet, I like to remind my clients of that fact. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm so excited. I can see that when we closed and you received more than what we promised you on the net sheet. I want them to know. Okay. Sometimes
sir, I do appreciate I never thought about that, to be honest with you, to be there to answer the questions for them. I should just give them the net sheet and say, there's escrow's contact info. If you have any questions, what these charges are, please give her a call. Okay.
Yes, you could do that as well. Once again,
but I like your approach.
Once again,
explain
there is no right and there is no wrong. I guess if you want, here goes. For me, is wrong. Here's the wrong for me. Not having a seller's net sheet, I think, is you're at a disadvantage. How about that?
100%. You're 100% right.
100%. You're at a disadvantage because I have a tool you don't have. And I'm going to tell you this. I walk into listings all the time, and I'm competing with realtors all the time. And I can't believe how many times they've said to me, Mr. Martinez, the other realtor didn't give me a net sheet. The other realtor didn't explain it like that. And I'm always smiling. And when they tell me we're going to have a competition, I'm going to tell you the truth. I always tell the sellers, can I meet you? And can I be the first realtor? Why? Because I want to present my net sheet. And then when they tell me they're going to meet you, and you, and they say, can you leave the information? I go, no. If you decide to work with me, please let me know and I'll be glad to come back. Okay, because I've given them a taste of Martinez. We're all competing. And believe me, I love to compete. So this is a tool to me that's an advantage for a realtor. If you're not using it, I think you're at a disadvantage. Simple as that.
Absolutely right. Thank you so much for the information.
All right, here we go. So now we're moving on. We're all on the numbers with me. Next one is prepayment penalty. They're not making loans today where they have prepayment penalties like when I started off. But I'm going to say to you, you should still ask the question, is there a prepayment penalty? And let them tell you yes or no. If the answer is no, zero. If the answer is yes, how much? If they don't know, then you put the word check, CK, next to it and say, Mr. Martinez, can you and Mrs. Martinez check with your lender and find out what the prepayment is so I can put it into that data. Simple as that. Okay. So in this case, they said, no, we have none. So let's put 0 there. Or I already put it in there for you. Reconveyance, 125. What is reconveyance for? Well, all you got to do is look at what my seller's net sheet. And it is to reconvey what? There it is, number 7. Okay. No, it's number 9. Reconveyance, to reconvey the trusted deeds. Okay. First, second, third, fourth, all of it to give you clear title. Reconveyance, $125. Okay. So that's the fee. Okay. Interest. Interest, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Okay. We asked them, what are you paying? What is your monthly payment? And she says to us, my monthly payment is $3,000 right now. My interest. That's, we look at it in real estate. I do interest in 30-day increments. Escrow does them in 45, and I think some lenders do them in 45. You can talk to your lender. We all do them, and we measure things differently. I do it in 30-day increments. I could always change it, another 30 days, another 30 days, another 30 days. It's not that difficult. But just so you know, when I'm calculating, it's on 30-day increments. Even if it's a 45-day escrow, it's still going to be, once again, calculated under 30-day increments. So here goes. I ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is your monthly payment? In this case, she says $3,000. And I said, is there any HOA? And she says, no. The total amount is $3,000. Now, if there would have been HOA, let's say she said $500, that would be $3,000 plus $5, $3,500 a month interest, okay? But in this case, it's only $3,000. So let's put down under interest, $3,000. We should all have the same numbers when we finish here, okay? Preps and docs, what is that? To prepare the docs, okay? They got to prepare the docs, okay? Preps and docs, $200. Preparing of docs, $200. It's there on your seller's net sheet. So you can have it so you can study the script and then have it in here. So you just, able to do it on your own, okay? Preparing of docs, $200. Appraisal, zero. When you're taking a listing, you're not telling your sellers what we're going to pay for the appraisal. Normally it's zero. 99.9% it's zero. I always say in my class, whoa, no, there's once in a while, appraisal, I will tell my sellers to pay for it. Okay, why? And here's the instances. If buyers are reluctant to make an offer because of the value they perceive they won't be able to make and don't want to spend the money for the appraisal, I have asked my sellers, if I believe 1,000% that this property is going to appraise, I'm going to back up my sellers. Hey, Jose will pay for it. Tell him you're going to pay for it. Okay? That way, I want to hook you. When I'm doing a deal and I believe I can put the deal together as a listing agent, my job is to make sure I get the deal and snag you, okay? So that 0.1%, I use as a tool. Appraisal, normally we think appraisal, no, seller doesn't pay for appraisal. Seller doesn't pay for appraisal. That's how they were taught in real estate. And you could call it thinking out of the box. I just call it thinking, okay? I think everybody thinks out of the box when they think. So appraisal to me is a tool. Can I use it for the seller's benefit? If I can, then I'm going to utilize it for the seller's benefit to snag the buyer, because that's what it will take the buyer to sign the contract. It's not having to pay for that. I might use it, okay? Most agents don't use it because they may not have the confidence that their listing will meet the price that they're trying to sell it. That's what I'm going to say. So appraisal right now is zero, but I'm letting you know it's, once again, in my toolbox, it's an option. It could be an option. Okay. Pest inspection, I have without work, zero. Once again, a lot of realtors I work with will say, Mr. Martinez, I don't get a pest report. I don't want to know what's wrong with the property. Okay, why? Because if I don't know, it's no known fact. I agree. If you don't know, you don't know. But most of us sell it in their as-is condition. I do all the time. So I like to know as much about the as-is as I can find out. And sometimes it means, hey, I always tell my sellers, let's get a pest report. It's about $75 for the inspection. And usually I can get that waived if it comes out clear. Because I deal with my clients for a long time. My vendors have a connection. Don't be changing vendor to vendor to vendor to vendor. Having a good team is good. Good for you, good for me, good for all of us. Okay. So I have it down as zero because some realtors do not want to get a pest. Okay, I don't want to know what's going on. Now, once again, if I'm working with the buyer and I know here goes the technique, you as a listing agent are looking at offers that don't ask for anything when they present the offer. Okay, because this is sort of a thing we're discussing here. Many realtors say, well, they didn't ask for pests, they didn't ask for this, they didn't ask for that, they didn't. That's the offer we're going to take. Okay, but that doesn't mean I can't ask for it, because there's a word called contingency period. Okay, I don't have to ask for a pest. I don't have to ask for septic. I don't have to, because I know that I don't have to ask for anything. But it doesn't mean monetary. I'm talking about inspection wise. And then I'll get into the deal and let you accept my offer. Then I'll come in and do all the inspections, and then I'll find out what's wrong. Then I'll ask you for everything. Okay? That's different. You see the difference? I come in through the back door. So I'm letting you know, technique. That's called technique. I'm always looking at offers who say, I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. But I always know in the back of my mind that they could go in and ask for everything. Just remember that. Okay. So here we go. Preps and docs, appraisal 0, pest inspection. In this case, we're going to say 0. Jose will always get a pest inspection. Why? Because I want to be able to tell all of you when you make an offer on my listing, hey, we have a pest report. It's clear. Hey, we have a pest report. It's $700 worth of pest, and seller's going to pay for it. Hey, we have a pest report. It's $10,000 worth of pest. I got x-rays and the little critters are holding the house together, but it's holding very well. And we're selling it, what? As is. And I'm going to show you it's as is condition. Now, what does that mean? All it means is, do you want to buy it or not? Okay. I want to sell it for more money. So in this case, 0. FHA and VA costs. I'm taking the listing. Anytime I'm taking a listing, it's going to say 0. But I say to all my sellers, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers, buyers can ask for FHA, VA, conventional, you name it. They can call it Jose's cost, any cost. Okay. Assistance costs. Really, I need to charge you for my realtor's assistance costs. Okay. Or TC costs. Who knows what cost you're charging? I don't know. Okay. But I tell my clients when we sell your home and we're going to put it up at $675,000, there may be buyers who are going to buy this property and ask between 1% and 3%, maybe more. Okay. And they'll look and say, Jose, wow, that's almost $20,000 at 3%. Oh, yes. I said, but you know what? We're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to let them make the offers because the market is very strong right now. Now, you heard what I just said? Because I know where the market is. It's strong right now. And we'll look at all the offers before we worry about that. That goes to the person that said, hey, what if we get multiple offers at high? Because that's going on too. So you got to think about all the things. Okay. So right now I tell them, yep, there could be fees of 1%, 2%, and that could be up to 18, 19. If it's 1%, almost 7,000, 2%, almost 14,000, 3%, almost 21,000 in fees. But I'm going to make sure that we keep it down to a minimum and we go over every fee before you accept an offer. Is that okay with you? Yes, thank you. Boom. So in this case, it's 0. Oh, when I take a listing, are they going to be in the FHA fees? No, 0, because I want the seller to see more money, more money, more money. When I'm taking a listing, I want you to see more, okay? And in today's market, you're probably going to see more. I list at $675, and now I'm selling at $700,000. 700, wow, more. So, home warranty, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You have a pool in the back. I see you have a pool in the back. And I'm going to suggest that we offer a home warranty. Well, how much would that cost us? I'm going to say around $625. That would include home, pool, and pool equipment. Did you hear what I just said, all of you? If you see a pool in the back, don't just say home and pool. Okay. You have home, pool, and pool equipment. Now the pool could have a spa, but you need that pool equipment included in there. Why? Because if a heater breaks down, they're going to tell you, hey, that's not the pool. That's the pool equipment. Okay. So I've learned from experience, make sure you include everything. And that's about, we're going to say $625. So on this one, we're going to say we're offering a home inspection. And I lost my pen. We found it. We're offering a home inspection for $625. And that includes what? Home, pool, and pool equipment. Are you all with me? All right. $625. Brokerage. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Let me see. All of you. I just can't pick one. All of you did such a great job on your listing presentation. And I'm going to tell you, I started off when I went into this, I said, I'm going to sell my home, but I'm not going to give the listing agent 6%. No, not I. But after hearing all of you give me your listing presentation, showing me the seller's net sheet and going through all this, I was mesmerized. I mean, whoa. So I'm going to give you 6%. I mean, am I stupid or what? You just said, I'm mesmerized. I said, and I want 6%, Mr. Martinez, and I like 6%. And I'm going to work very hard for our money. I'm going to make sure I'm mesmerized. So let's go. 670,000. That's the projected sales price. Times what? 6%. Am I out of my mind? Equals 40,200. 40,200. So put down there where it says brokerage fees. Put 40,200. Now you can look at the one on car. They break it down this way: listing brokerage fees, selling brokerage fees. It makes no difference. 6%, 5%, or it could be 4% for me, 2% for them. You know, whichever way you want to do it. But right now it's the total. The seller said, "You're amazing. I'll give you 6%. I just love this." Okay. No wonder you realtors drive around in Lexuses and whirlybirds, helicopters now. Not even cars, helicopters. Look at that. Okay. I know. I'll work hard for the money. That's what I tell them. Hard for my money. Next, miscellaneous fees. No, buyer's fees. Once again, buyer's fees. What could they be? I tell them, once again, a buyer's fee could be like FHA. Buyers could be VA. Buyers could be any fees. Sometimes you say, I want lender's fees, non-recurring, recurring, and any and all closing fees as per lender. How much? Sometimes you tell me a percentage, 1%, 2%, 3%, okay? Or you tell me in numeric numbers, $15,000. See, how do you tell me stuff like that? I always try to keep it minimal. Okay? How do I make that much money look small? Okay. So in this case, when I take the listing, buyer's fees, no, there are no buyer's fees because we're not giving anybody any money right now. Let them make an offer to us, and then we can decide. Now I'll give you an example. We're offering this listing for $675. He said he'll take $670. To the lady that brought up the offer overpriced, just pretend that on this one, somebody brought us an offer of $677.5 and asked for 5,000 closing costs. Could we put the deal together? You bet you can, because he gave us more than what we asked, but not too much more. Okay, and he only wanted $670. He's going to still be making more money than what we offered him. Okay. So that's why I like a seller's net sheet. It gives me the latitudes. My client, we're listing for this, but he's willing to take that. It's called the bottom line. The bottom line is this: Jose, I'm not going to take a penny less than this. Okay. Now, sometimes it's $675, and what's the bottom line? $675. Okay. Miscellaneous. If you look at my seller's net sheet formula, it says this: if I sell a house from $1 to $500,000, it's $500. If I sell a house from 501 to $1 million plus, it's $1,000 miscellaneous. So put in this case $1,000 miscellaneous. Oh, wait a minute. How do you explain it to your sellers? What is it for, Mr. Martinez? Miscellaneous, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is going to be an amount that's going to be put into this fee, this estimate. In the event we get into escrow, buyers going to be doing inspections. They may find things that we do not know and you do not know about as well, and ask us to rectify or repair those items. I would like to have that fee there so that we can be able to rectify or repair those items and not have to come back and ask you again. Oh, I understand. And if this fee is not utilized, all the money comes back to you. So if we don't use any of the $1,000, you're going to have $1,000 more in your net. If we use only half of it, you'll have $500 more in your net. Now, it's a tool for me because, once again, in taking a listing, we're all obligated to tell the sellers, we need to fix up the this, and that. Are you willing to do it? It's on the R&R. Well, can we just do this, and that? Well, that's about $500. Okay. Now you got to ask them, can we fix it? And you got to get their permission. Okay. Document it. With the miscellaneous, I've already documented. We're going to have $1,000 where? In the estimated fees towards miscellaneous costs. So if we get into escrow and something comes up and I got to fix it up, I'm going to be just telling the sellers, a couple of items came up to $350, but don't worry, we have it in the estimate. It's going to be taken care of, and I'll make sure we get a vendor to resolve it and get an estimate and put it into escrow. Okay, it's going to go into escrow. I like to pay all my bills through escrow so that my vendors, my escrow company gives it to the buyers, so the buyers have a copy and documentation that all work was done. Okay. Now, I know some people like to do it this way. Well, my cousin Danny says he can do all the work. He's a handyman. So Danny's going to be fixing everything. Now, I leave that up to you. Okay. But if you're dealing with me, I'm going to tell you, I usually say I'd like a licensed vendor. Okay. Not Danny fixing up plumbing, electrical, and changing a panel. Okay. With all due respect. Okay. Miscellaneous, 1,000. Okay. Non-owner occupied. The owner lives there, so we don't have to take that fee out. But you can see it says 3.33% just for your own. Look at what that would be. $670,000 times 3.33% equals $22,311. 22,000. Don't put it in there. Don't put it in there because this person lives there. Owner occupied. If you live there, owner occupied. But just think about it. If you didn't live there, we're going to tell them commission is over 40,000. You're going to be telling them, hey, you don't live there, and that's another fee of $22,311. They're going to be saying to you, hey, Mr. Martinez, wow, $22,311. Why? Okay, that's called federal and state. Escrow, when you don't live in a property, escrow will automatically take it out when they close escrow. They take it out the federal and state in case you haven't paid your taxes. Okay? Just so you know. And here's what I tell my clients. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you've been doing your taxes on a regular basis, escrow is obligated to take these funds out automatically. But they will, if you're take it to your CPA and your legal advisor, you'll be able to retrieve those funds back. And that calms that process of whoa. A lease is usually a business. I lease properties, and my CPA has the information. Leased at this amount, I pay this amount. It's on record. So if I've been paying my taxes, my federal, my state, I just simply go to my tax representative and tell them I closed the transaction. I'm non-owner occupied. Help me retrieve these funds back. That's what I explain to my clients. That way they're okay. Now, some of my clients say, Mr. Martinez, I haven't paid taxes on that property. Then with all due respect, I tell them the other part too. Then this might just be a portion because They already took out the federal and state, and if you haven't owed, then now they're getting some of their money back, and you may owe more. I don't know. Once again, who do you talk to? Your legal advisor. Okay, always send them back to you. Your CPA, your legal advisor, not Jose. I'm only a realtor. Okay? Look at my curriculum vitae that I sent you. It didn't say I'm a plumber. Okay? Now I've done other things in my life. Okay? So I am other things, but right now, realtor. So non-owner occupied, 0. Okay. Any other fees we got there? 0. Okay. Now, we're going to add all these fees up together so we can figure out what we owe, what the fees are going to be. So we're all going to do the same fees together, pull out your calculators, and then I'll ask somebody out there to give me the winning number. Please do not hesitate, all of you, to give me the winning number. The fees, escrow, $1,590. Plus what? Plus 75. Plus recording, 125. Plus what? Drawing deed, 125. Plus title insurance of $1,927. Plus what? Transfer tax of $1,474. Plus reconveyance, $125. Plus interest, $3,000. Plus preps and docs, $200. Plus, let me get this paperwork over here. I can see it better. Plus what? Next fee, home warranty, $625. Plus, commission, 6% of $40,200. Plus 1,000 miscellaneous. Total amount. Can anybody give me a total amount? Anybody willing to give me a total amount? Speak up. I'll give it to you. We should have the same number. Everybody should have the same number in the calculator. I have $50,466. Will somebody confirm that same number? Two new messages. Let me see them. I gotta see the new messages. Okay. I'm working on the seller's net sheet. Somebody said, I can't see what you're pointing at. 50,466. Thank you, Franklin. Yes, Franklin Jen, 50,000. I like it. I like that. 50,000, okay, $466. That's correct. So now we just got to do one more thing. We got to just take away that debt from the subtotal or gross, which is $347,500. So put in your calculators, 347,500 minus the fees of how much? $50,466, giving me how much? $297. I'm saying you're going to get 297,034. 297,034. Does everybody following with me? The reason I'm saying, are you there? Okay. I'm going to pull out another form. Scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 on the form that I gave you from CAR. It says scenario number 2 at $670,000, and they said what it's going to be. They expected you to get back how much? $297,196. I expect to get how much? $297.34. Our scenarios are not too much apart. And I have fees, okay, that I put in there. So you see, I can put in the fees that I want in the car form. They spit it out and they said, I'm going to get $297, 196 bucks. I just did the car, my form, Jose's formula, same thing. I use the same numbers and we're going to get 297. The difference is what, $70? Okay. And I am very conservative when I do my net sheets. My clients don't get less money. I'm conservative. So that's why I'm very comfortable about it. I've been using this for years. I give it to my escrow officer. Over 32 years, I've only had one person tell me, Mr. Martinez, there's a problem. There's a problem. And then I took what? I took my net sheet, the one he signed, the final net sheet, and I took the closing cost form with me. Why? Because that's data. And we sat down together and we looked through all the information. And he forgot one thing, and this is going back many years. He forgot the prepayment penalty, because I asked him, is there a prepayment penalty? And he said, no. No. And it was. And that was the difference. So I was able to sit down with my net sheet and with the closing statement and find the issue. And it wasn't due to me, and it was due to having the wrong information from him, and he had signed off on it. So when he saw that, he calmed down really quick. Okay, so that's another tool. It's just a tool for you and I to share with our sellers the data on how they're going to get their money. So in this case, I'd be telling my client, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to be getting $297,034. Now, remember, I said earlier to all of you, I always ask the question, what are your plans? What are your plans? Because I'm trying to tie myself to them. Okay. Anyone can sell a house one time, anyone. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. Okay. Anyone can sell a house, anyone, any realtor. Okay. You're not in that group because you're here taking a class. But it takes professionalism to be able to keep a client, like we say, for life, to be able to sell that client over and over and over and over and over. I don't look for clients anymore. When I started off in this business, I marketed about 2,000 homes. I don't go walking the streets that I used to walk. I don't market like, they don't allow you, COVID, okay? But even physically, I don't want to do that anymore. So if you don't take care of your data, and your data is your clients, then you'll be always looking for new clients as opposed to having referrals and your current clients giving you more work. When you get it to be in this business for 4 decades, you shouldn't be out there scrambling for clients. You should be hoping your clients are coming back to you and referrals. I'm giving you that as a tip because I know agents who've been in this business longer than I, or as long as I, and they're always looking for new clients because they didn't take care of the data and the clients they have now. It's easy to say, I'm going to be your agent for life. It's hard to do it. It is difficult to do it. So take care of your clients, nurture your clients so that they can bless you down the line. Let's do one more. Laura, how am I doing for time?
You're right on schedule.
I'm right on schedule. How many minutes do I have?
About 10.
10. Okay.
13 actually.
Okay, grab another sheet, ladies and gentlemen. Grab one of the sheets I have, and I'm going to just do this for you real quick. And if you have another sheet that says 675, listing price 675, and it says projected sales price 675. So once again, same scenario, and I'm going to show you something. Okay, we're only going to make one change, just the sale of the property. Debt 300,000. So if you want to put on it 300,000. Other 22.5. Total debt 300, where it says encumbrances, right? 322,500. Okay. Now I'm projecting to sell it at what price now? 375. Okay. 375. Okay. So if I looked at that at 375, taken away from the 322, now your projected gross would be 352,500. Projected gross, just so you can write it in there, 352,500. I did all the numbers before I gave them to you. Okay. Let's look on escrow. Let's go on estimated costs now. I'm just giving you the numbers so you can have something else on your for your formula. If we did escrow at this price, now escrow is $1,600. Escrow is $1,600. Okay, and you know that's $2 per thousand, whatever that amounted to, plus a setup fee of $250 for a total of $1,600. Sub escrow 75. It's a title fee that's charged to buyer and seller. Recording 125. Drawing deed 125. So when you make your net sheets, put the same numbers so you don't have to think about those numbers anymore. Title insurance. Let's go to our title chart. Okay. And if you go to the title chart and you look at 675, go to 675. Oh my goodness, there is no 675. Where do you go to? Don't go to 670. Always go to the next highest number. That's 680. So it's 1,944. 1,944. Okay. When you're looking at a title chart and you're selling a property and it's not there, go up a number higher. Why? You're going to have more money there. Your client's going to get more money back. Don't go less because you'll be shortchanging yourself. So we went up to 1,944. Okay. And then we're looking at transfer tax. Once again, transfer tax, get your calculator out. This is the only one that I did so you can do the numbers. If we're selling it for what? Selling for 675, 675,000 times what? Times 2.2 equals $1,485. Putting their transfer tax, $1,485. Okay. Reconveyance, zero. Prepayment, zero. Reconveyance, 125. Interest, let's put $3,000 again. Interest, $3,000. Preps and docs, $200. Why? To prepare the docs, okay? Appraisal, zero. But remember, it could be a tool that I could utilize to help my seller. Pest inspection, in this case, zero. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. And I don't want to speak it. But remember, we can come in from the back door. But in this case, it's zero. FHA, BA costs, anytime you take a listing, zero. Home warranty, in this case, we're going to put $550. Let's change it to $550. Brokerage, 6%. You guys are dynamic. So let's go to brokerage. 6% of 675,000 times 6% equals, wait, let me get it back. 675 times 6% equals 40,500. 40,500. No wonder you guys are in Mercedes. Buyer's fees, zero. Miscellaneous, 1,000. You know what it's for? To fix items up so you don't have to go, Mr. Seller, I need to ask you, can we get some money to fix these things up? Better to get the money up front. Better to get the money up front. Hey, I know how to grovel. I get down on, please. Okay. And do they live in the non-owner occupied? Zero. Rest, zero. Let's add up the numbers together. All right. Let's start from the top. We're at 1,600 plus what? Plus 75 plus 125 plus 125 plus what? 1944 plus what? 1,485 plus 125 plus 3,000. That's for the interest, 1 month payment, plus $200 plus what? $550 for home warranty, plus $40,500, plus $1,000 for miscellaneous, for a total of $50,729. And if you take the $50,729, let's subtract that from the $352,500 minus $50,729 equals 301,771. So if I were doing this new net sheet, I'd be saying to the seller, and if we sold it at this price, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you'd be getting $301,771. $301,771. That's what I'd be saying to them. And the reason I did this last one, look how quickly I did it. When I'm taking a listing and you're taking a listing, our clients do not have all day to listen and wait for the crickets, okay? I like to get all my stuff done in 45 minutes. And if they say, yes, I want to work with you, I'm going to bring everything tomorrow, disclosures, this, we all have different techniques. I know some of my new agents, when they come to me and I mentor them, they go, I was on a listing, Jose, and I was there for 3 hours. Well, you know, you weren't on a listing. You were trying to plead for a deal, or you were there with some lonely people that needed conversation. Okay? A listing shouldn't take 3, 4, 5 hours. With all due respect. I hope I helped you a little bit today. I hope I gave you some ideas today. I look forward to seeing you next month. Join me again. Here's my phone number in case you have a question, because sometimes somebody says, Jose, I don't understand what you do, and I'd like to ask you a question. Well, you can call me direct, 909-437-9364. Call me up, let me know, or email me. I'm at jose4resales@gmail.com. I'll be glad to get back to you and answer your questions and help you out. I appreciate you taking the time of your day to become a better realtor, because that's what we all should be doing. As I always say to everybody when I'm checking out, love and peace to all of you. Take care, Laura. Take care, all of you.
We'll see you next month, Jose. March 26th is your next class.
Next class is, she gave me the date. I'll see you then.
Bye, everyone.
Call me if you need me. Adios.